Holmes, for heaven's sake, whatever's going on?
Oh,
hello, Watson. You're early. Did you kill all of your patients?
What? Holmes, where have all these wretched bees come from?
I increased the temperature of the room so as to prevent them from hibernating. I needed to take a sample of honey. But it worked, Watson. We will have honey all year round.
Ridiculous and dangerous.
They're domestic bees, Apis mellifera, such industrious workers. Anyway, Watson, I am sorry, but I must leave you. I'm in rather a hurry.
You have a new case?
Yes, but nothing as thrilling as this experiment. A theft of plants at the Royal Botanic Gardens in Kew. I'm helping a minister who's an old friend of mine. You can join me if you like.
Well, I'll admit that I'd far rather accompany you than remain alone here with these workers of yours. Besides, you'll need a helping hand with the flowers you're intending to bring back.
Watson, however did you guess?
For the great Sherlock Holmes to bother with the theft of plants. Come on, admit that you're planning to spoil your little bees with some rare pollens.
Since when did I become so transparent? Let us go.
Let's go. 도둑 맞은 식물? 안 웃긴데 어떻게 웃어요? 히힛? 왜 로딩이 이렇게 길어?
Well, Holmes, here we are at the Royal Botanic Gardens. There's no doubt that this place is beautiful. But are you really intent on investigating the theft of the plants?
Yes, of course.
What are we doing, Holmes?
Let us find someone who could help us.
일단 물어봐야죠.
Don't touch anything else, is that clear? Just go and get a bucket of fertilizer. And without turning it over this time. Good day to you, gentlemen. How may I help you? If you are here for a visit, please do come back on Sunday.
I am afraid that it cannot wait. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my friend and colleague, Dr. Watson. We are investigating the theft of plants that took place here 5 days ago. A remarkable collection, I believe.
So you're the one in charge, eh?
A small favour for a friend. Now, to whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
I am Martin Hamish. I am the Deputy Director of Kew Gardens, and that fellow yonder is Albert. He works here.
I am delighted to meet you. What can you tell us about the plants?
They were rare and exceptional plants. We presented them at our last exhibition. We haven't removed the stand yet. It is still in the large glass house. We only learned of their disappearance the evening after the exhibition, and nobody saw anything.
No doors were forced?
No. But I would imagine that for a thief it would be fairly easy to gain entry, for there are no guards here.
Well, if you don't mind, we will take a look. Now, you say that it is in the large glass house.
Yes, the one just behind me. Just a second, since Albert has nothing else to do. Albert, show these gentlemen where the exhibition was held.
How many people work here?
Only myself, but occasionally 2 students, Albert, whom you have met, and Miss White.
Here it is. This is the place where the stolen plants were exhibited.
Thank you. Is there something the matter?
Yes, there is. All right, the plants were valuable and rare, but it seems to me that the tragedy that took place here only 2 days ago has been entirely forgotten already.
What tragedy are you referring to?
The director of Kew Gardens, Mr. Montague Dunn, he died here just 2 days ago.
We're very sorry. We were not aware. The two of you were good friends?
He was my father.
Oh dear. Our condolences. We should not be troubling you. Please do excuse us for the intrusion.
You say that he died here, in the large glass house?
Holmes?
Yes, just here, near the door to the Colonial Collection. He suffered a heart attack. Just like that. So suddenly.
그랬군요.
It was terrible. Excuse me, gentlemen, but I cannot remain here. If you need me, I'll be in the reserve. That's the room next to the front of the large greenhouse.
Of course, we understand. The plants were here. All of them were stolen. The plants were here. All of them were stolen.
Do not touch.
구석구석 다 봐야겠지?
According to Albert, this is where his father, Montague Dunn, was found dead.
탐정의 눈. 이게 뭐지?
Soil. It should have come from a flower pot. The soil on the side of this flower shelf is the same as that on the ground.
그렇군. 문에도 뭐가 있네?
The door was smashed at shoulder height. This door handle is new. It was recently changed. The esconson was breached near the handle.
부셨네.
The door was forced from the inside of the Colonial Collection room. The handle was changed afterwards.
I think we need to inspect the Colonial Collection room.
Very strange.
또 나왔나?
Half of the Colonial Collection is absent. The smell is strong. It is a detergent.
안 돼요. 이게 뭘까?
A fragment of marble, most likely chipped from a statue or sculpture. This broken fragment was the result of a heavy blow.
어머, 어디 욕행 가시는 거예요? 실망이에요.
These windows were perfectly cleaned. Part of this greenhouse was emptied and thoroughly cleaned.
왜 청소했을까요?
According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building.
다 있는데? 네. 가지마.
Soil. It should have come from a flower pot.
아, 이거 아까 했나? 아닌데.
Soil. It should have come from a flower pot. The soil on the side of this flower shelf is the same as that on the ground.
그냥 나가지지 않을 텐데.
Fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here.
조사했고. 화분.
This pot was broken fairly recently. A flower pot recently fell down from these shelves and was misplaced.
뭘 또 조사 안 했지? 피?
This sign is broken. Something heavy was dropped upon it. Blood. Someone fell violently against this sign, and they were injured in the clash. Most likely a head wound.
사진. 다 조사했는데.
This door handle is new. It was recently changed.
뭘 빼먹은 거지?
The door was smashed at shoulder height.
뭐지? 이게 계속 나타나는 걸 뭘 조사하라는 얘긴데. 알기도 했는데.
Can I help you, gentlemen?
Palm House. Do you work here?
Yes, but part-time only. For I'm also studying botany at the University of London.
You're following in your father's footsteps, then. That is commendable.
Well, even if botany is not my strongest suit, there are people who say that I could be a good manager.
다크서클. 깨끗하네 손이.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
What should we do next, Holmes?
비켜.
A task list for Albert, compiled by Martin Hamish. Sweep out the palm house, scrub the toilets, clean the storage shed tools.
저런 걸 하라 그랬는데 손이 너무 깨끗하지 않아요? 비켜. 거참 하는 일도 없으면서 이 아저씨 누구지?
Albert told us about the tragic death of Mr. Dunn, the late director of Kew Gardens.
Tragic indeed. His heart attack was quite unexpected.
목에 뭐지? 정원사에서는 일해야죠. 들어야죠.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation. Colonial Collection. Water Lily Greenhouse. Palm House. Dry Tropics. Seed House. Ventilation System. Nursery. Director's Office, Cloakroom and Laboratory. Colonial Collection. A map of Kew Gardens. Palm House. Dry Tropics. Water Lily Greenhouse.
페인이네요, 페인.
Locked.
왜 잠겨있지?
Locked.
락.
Locked.
이씨, 다
Nursery.
잠겨있어. 저기 아저씨 길 좀 막지 마세요.
Locked.
다 잠겨있어.
Locked. There is a smell of burning.
타고 있어, 뭐가. 러브님 이제 불까지 내는 거예요? 화분인가?
The symbol is not from Kew Gardens. A broom handle was half burned. A broom handle was half burned. A protective mask. Someone set it alight, but it did not burn. The remains of a picture frame.
액자.
The plants were set alight fairly recently. Some have not completely burned.
방화가 방화죠? 다 중사했는데? 이번에는 식물이 없어졌어요.
The remains of a picture frame.
문을 열어라. 좀 비켜라 좀. 오, 열대식물. 그것보다 나 이제 길을 몰라.
According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building. These trees, with their roots in water, must originate from Louisiana.
Ah, yes, the bayou. I remember our visit in the case of the Awakened.
그렇군. 왜 끊겨있지? 아, 호수구나.
Here is a list of the stolen plants.
Do not touch.
이렇게 보면 이게 발동되네.
The traces are thinner in some places. These boot marks are fresh. It appears as though someone was dragging their feet. The footprints reveal that someone staggered here. All the clues around here are quite suspicious. I need my imagination to make sense of it all. No, it wasn't like that.
화분을 떨어뜨렸다.
No, it wasn't like that.
이거 아니야?
No, it wasn't like that.
이런 씨. 문을 부셨다. 이건가?
No, it wasn't like that.
문을 부셨다. 이것도 아니야? 문을 부셨다. 뭐야? 그럼 뭐야?
No, it wasn't like that.
파악하십시오. 몰라. 오늘 부셨다도 아닌데.
No, it wasn't like that.
저거도 아니래. 화분을 떨어뜨린 것도 아니고 이름. 1, 2, 3을 하는 거구나. 알았어. 다시 1 2 3 이렇게 하는 거구나.
This reconstruction reveals a disturbing fact. Montague Dunn damaged the door of the Colonial Collection Room.
He was in a panic, or the door was locked. Was it an accident? Or a murder then, I wonder.
으쌰. 누가 말해? 서재도 확인해야 되고 부검돼야 되고 뭐가요?
I asked Inspector Lestrade to take Montague Dunn's body to Scotland Yard.
It's ready for autopsy then.
수험실 갑시다. 증거 보관은 없구나. 이거 비켜봐.
This watch is of
이거
great value.
경찰서요.
A beautiful feather pen of a good make.
영암.
A membership card for the London Crest Club.
홈즈니까요. 부감실이 시체다.
First of all, let us carry out an external examination.
아쉽죠? 남자 시체라서.
There is an injury to the skull, most probably caused by the fall in the water lily greenhouse. The air from the lungs carries a faint floral aroma. The air from the lungs carries a faint floral aroma. The vessels and the pupil of the eye appear quite normal. There are no suspicious marks upon the chest. Let us finish our external examination so that we can proceed with the autopsy.
경직돼 있어.
No redness, stings, or bruises. Nothing suspicious here. Now, let us examine the internal organs.
뭐야, 홈즈 배도 갈라? 깜짝이야.
The heart's blood vessels show no pathological signs. The heart's blood vessels show no pathological signs. The heart tissue shows no visible pathological signs.
폐?
The lungs are congested and edematous. The lungs are congested and edematous.
여기 뭐가 있어?
The tissue on the inferior lobe of the right lung is damaged, most probably caused
그래서
by
물을
toxins
푸시고
from an
넘어졌구나.
unknown plant. The liver is enlarged. It would seem that he was suffering from an alcohol addiction. The liver is enlarged. It would seem that he was suffering from an alcohol addiction.
나갔네. 알코올 좋아하는 거?
The liver is enlarged. It would seem that he was suffering from an alcohol addiction. The liver is enlarged. It would seem that he was suffering from an alcohol addiction. The liver tissue is brown. There are no visible pathological signs. The stomach tissues show no visible pathological signs. There is a small amount of content. It appears that he breakfasted lightly, only a short while before his death. My suspicions have been substantiated. Montague Dunn, the director of Kew Gardens, died from poisoning, plant poisoning to be more exact.
You mean...
Yes,
살인인가?
it is murder.
We should inform Lestrade.
Yes, but do remember, Watson, that I discovered the murder. The challenge is mine.
The challenge, Holmes?
We need to locate that deadly plant. Such a perfect murder appeals to me.
Murder of any kind appeals to you. Is that all we need to do?
No. We also have the people working at Kew Gardens. Martin Hamish and the son of the victim, Albert Dunn.
싫어요.
And also Miss White, of whom we spoke with Mr. Hamish. Should we bring them all here for interrogation?
No. A few innocuous questions at Kew will suffice, as well as a discreet delve into their personal affairs. Yes, Watson. It is time now to open the doors.
Even those in the staff building? I suppose that is necessary.
We should also be concerned with the victim himself. After all, we don't know very much about Montague Dunn.
You're enjoying this already, aren't you?
More than a little.
What should we do next, Holmes?
비키 주실래요? 이라니.
Locked.
치조 못하네. 식물을 찾고 살해범들 찾아야 되고. 일단 서재를 확인하러 집으로 가죠. 공약을 왜 봐요? 재미없어요. 서재. 뭐지? 동미나리.
That is not the one I need. That is not the one I need. That is not the one I need.
필요 없음 말고.
That is not the one I need.
그래? 신문인가 그럼? 아 뭐야 그럼?
That is not the one I need.
롱션? 공학. 그건 아닌데. 뭐지?
That is not the one I need. That is not the one I need.
아 식물아.
Here it is. This is where I keep my...
인장 백과사전이 있어요. 신석? 있다.
Here it is. The Divine Syndicate is not a supplier to Kew Gardens. Besides, there is no address here.
다 조사했고. 도둑과 살해범은 같은 사람인가?
Mr. Hamish, can you explain to us what happened to the colonial collection? It seems somewhat depleted.
But, most likely maintenance work, tidying up.
You're not sure, then? But you're the deputy director.
Well, I am busy. I cannot be everywhere at once.
As deputy director, how was your relationship with Montague Dunn?
To be honest with you, Mr. Holmes, it could have been better. You see, every Tuesday he would carry out his inspection of the gardens, but it was solely to make an impression. Great pretense that he cared at all. He would give out absurd orders, ignoring anyone else's opinion. He would then disappear for the rest of the week. He was what some might call a man of action. I'd say rather he was overzealous and chaotic. So after all, it was no wonder, perhaps, that he ended up like that, if you take into consideration his kind of lifestyle.
You mentioned that Mr. Dunn led a particular lifestyle.
Well, it's no secret that he enjoyed,
홍마님 어서 오세요.
celebrating, shall we say? He was a member of the London Smart Set. He was famous for it. That
And
he had an eye for the ladies, to put it mildly, Mr. Holmes.
저예요.
Mr. Hamish, can you tell us who holds the keys to the locked greenhouses?
That would be Albert, Mr. Dunn's son. Yes, Albert keeps all the keys, and one can only imagine why.
What do you mean?
Well, he was
반갑습니다.
never interested in Kew Gardens before. And now all of a sudden he's trying to act as if he owns the place. I think he wants to take over the management here. He'd do better to leave that to me. He has no experience. No, none at all.
What is your opinion of Albert as a student of botany?
He's useless. I often tell him so, and I can only give him cleaning tasks. Botany is not his life's work, and his father well knew it. He was furious about it.
He was?
Oh, yes. He forced his son to work here, and he never missed an opportunity to criticize him publicly.
Are you able to elaborate on that?
Well, for example, with our last exhibition here, Mr. Dunn had Albert make a presentation speech. But then, while the lad was speaking, Mr. Dunn interrupted him, asking him difficult questions, making him look like a failure. It was with the intention of making a fool of him,
가지
Mr.
마요.
Holmes.
That must have been terribly humiliating.
기다려보세요.
Yes, he was crushed, and he had to leave.
가-
Everybody was making fun of poor Albert. That is, except for Miss Margaret White, who was such a nice lady and who always takes pity on Albert.
You mentioned a Miss White. Would you tell us more about her?
She is a student who works here part-time. She is quite charming indeed. She possesses a great talent for botany. You should take a look at some of her experiments that she carried out in the laboratory. Ah, If only she were not so naive.
Why naive?
The way she used to flutter around Mr. Montague Dunn. And why, he couldn't help but be flattered by all her attention. How could an intelligent woman such as Miss White not see through his game? I can only scratch my head and wonder.
Tell me, Mr. Hamish, do you grow the more deadly variety of plant here?
You mean insectivorous? Yes, but nothing larger than that.
Are you aware of the Divine Syndicate?
The Divine what? Is this a joke?
No, I am quite serious.
What a ridiculous name. Anyway, I have never heard of this syndicate.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
맛은 좀 비켜줄래?
Locked. Locked.
아, 왓슨 정말.
Locked. Locked.
다 잠겨 있어. 저건 뭐지?
A ventilation system. It should regulate the temperature of the staff buildings. A water tank.
잠겨 있었나?
Lock.
문을 여시오. 맞췄는데?
According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building. We noticed that a part of the colonial collection has been cleared.
Ah, at the moment I'm just dealing with the storage room. I don't know much about the other rooms.
Who is Miss Margaret White?
Ah, she is the young lady who studies with me. She visits here sometimes to help out with the greenhouses. In fact, she should be here today.
역행을요?
She wanted to work at the seed house. That's the small greenhouse across from the large glass house.
가든 안 가든
I
상관
imagine
안
that
하지
your
않나?
relationship with your father may have been a strained one.
Yes. I cannot say that he was a kind man, for he never listened to me at all. He forced me to work here. But now, after his death, I've been pondering it over. Perhaps he wasn't so wrong about me after all. I have to follow his path. I have to manage Kew Gardens. And I can do it. I can be as good as any other who works here.
Would you please tell us about Martin Hamish, the Deputy Director?
Well, I have to tell you that Mr. Hamish is not and has never been the Deputy Director of Kew Gardens. My father would not have tolerated it.
Indeed? Well, that is most interesting. He told us that he was.
Yes, because he believes that the management should be passed down to him now that my father is dead. But in actual fact, Mr. Hamish only has the honour of being the garden's longest-serving employee. In fact, if we are to think logically at all, it should be me who takes over the management of Kew Gardens.
Do you not have a good relationship with Mr. Hamish?
I suppose so. But we have very little in common. Mr. Hamish loves his plants and Kew Gardens, and I cannot say that I share his passion.
I see. And how was his relationship with your father?
Oh, he hated my father. It was obvious. He would be furious whenever my father boasted of Kew Gardens in the newspapers or at conferences. He was convinced that my father was stealing all of the credit for himself. But my father treated Mr. Hamish in the same way as he treated anyone. Dismissively. With indifference.
그랬구나. 추워.
Tell me, have you ever heard of the Divine Syndicate?
No, I cannot say that I have.
Do you hold the keys to all of these locked doors?
Yes, you can have them. But I cannot give you the keys to the cloakroom. The employees' effects are private. I am sure you understand.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
아, 문이 끝이 없어. 비켜.
Look, Holmes.
저기 있다, 마가렛.
This charming lady must be Miss White. She's entering the seed house.
잠깐만. 여긴가?
Seed house. Open.
와!
Good day to you, miss. You have some very beautiful plants here.
Why, thank you, sir. And good day to you, too. But...
Oh, I do beg your pardon. My name is Dr. John Watson. This is my good friend, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
I am honored to make your acquaintance, gentlemen. My name is Margaret White. Excuse me, but are you Sherlock Holmes, the great detective?
Yes, I am he.
What a pleasure to see you here at Kew Gardens. Are you working on a case?
Yes, a theft of plants that took place here a few days ago after their most recent exhibition.
Oh yes, of course. I quite forgot about that.
Oh, it's quite understandable that you might forget about the theft of the plants, miss, after the tragedy that took place here.
Yes. The director was a truly good man. It is such a terrible misfortune.
Would you happen to know why part of the colonial collection was cleared?
No, I have never been there.
Do you work here?
Part-time only. I am a biology student at the London University. I attend the same
비정규직이래.
classes as the son of Mr. Montague Dunn. That is how I found my chance to work here for part of my thesis, you see. It is a great honor.
How well did you know Mr. Montague Dunn?
He was a master, a great leader. I saw him almost as a spiritual father.
He had an exceptional nature?
Oh yes, indeed. He was always so active and so optimistic and very nice to me, although he could behave harshly towards his son.
Why so?
He loved his son dearly and wanted the very best for him. It made him extremely demanding. Albert, who is naturally shy, suffered because of it.
The Divine Syndicate. Does that name mean anything to you, by any chance?
Not at all. But it is a very pretty name.
Most of the doors in Kew Gardens are locked. Do you have a key to this room?
Oh, yes. Albert gave me a set of duplicate keys. He agreed I might carry out my studies without disturbing him. It is only temporary.
그렇군. 값비싼 향수를 써? 미안해, 더듬어서. 손이 왜 그러지? 빨개.
Thank you, miss. None of the 3 people who work at Kew Gardens know why half of the colonial collection was cleared. So, someone is lying. It is obvious.
조사할 게 없나? 걸그쳐 정말.
Locked. The seeds of plant species are stored here.
그렇군요. 왜 흉상?
It is a bust of Montague Dunn. I am curious if the marble that we found will fit this. Here it is. The marble fragment that we found in the Colonial Collection Room is what they have in common.
약물이다.
This poster is for an exhibition that Martin Hamish was directing, but it had nothing to do with Kew Gardens. This certificate belongs to Martin Hamish. He won a horticultural competition.
뭐 없군.
A thesis written by Martin Hamish. A thesis written by Martin Hamish.
아이고 추워.
A glasses case. It is empty. This area serves as Martin Hamish's office.
그렇군.
An award presented to Martin Hamish for Best Grower of the Year. A master's degree diploma. It belongs to Martin Hamish.
비켜봐, 좀 비켜.
Locked.
여기로 들어왔나? 여긴 아까 봤고, 아까 사무실, 이게 어디지? 좀 비켜봐. 들어왔다. 어이 깜짝이야.
There was a bottle here. It left behind a trace of the substance that pervaded the laboratory. Several drops of the substance were spilled. Someone carried this bottle around. Several drops of the substance were spilled. Someone carried this bottle around.
Gold dust? Good heavens. What's it doing here?
The gold is almost immune to chemical attacks, so it may be a valuable auxiliary for various experiments.
But why would anyone perform such experiments in a botanical garden?
The bottle is no longer here, but it is possible to detect a faint scent. We need a good nose.
그렇다면 멍멍이 데려와야 돼? 다른 거 조사해보면 안 되나?
A botany book. This student's book belongs to Albert. Chemicals, a sufficient quantity for some serious experiments.
A phonograph used for voice recording. Remarkable.
Yes, this is quite a modern laboratory. I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything.
씨, 어떻게 되는 거야?
Martin Hamish's perception of plants. The notion of communication in the plant world has long been considered marginal, yet I remain convinced that some plants do indeed transmit chemical signals in the event of attack.
A study report by Martin Hamish.
And it seems clear from these multiple experiments that plants do respond to their environment and have a form of consciousness. Margaret White, February 1895. Report number 245.
study report. This is a table for experiments. It resembles my own.
Only this one is kept in good order, Holmes.
그렇다면
Gloves, waterproof aprons, everything one might need for self-protection.
Do they grow dangerous plants here?
Such masks are generally worn when dealing with toxic chemicals. Gloves, waterproof aprons, everything one might need for self-protection.
Do they grow dangerous plants here?
개 데리러 가야 돼. 네. 가지 마. 다 가버리고. 네.
A map of London and the surrounding area. Yeah, it could be
이건
useful.
어때요?
Come on, Toby. We have some work for you to do. Let us go to Kew Gardens.
이렇게요?
Let us take Toby to the laboratory. He will pick up the scent of this mysterious substance. Search, Toby. Search. Congratulations, Toby. Now let us see what you have found. This is the bottle that was used in the laboratory. There is still some liquid remaining in the bottle, with gold flakes, a tiny caterpillar. Not surprising to see one in a garden, but at the bottom of a bottle.
들리죠? 얘한테 말을 비켜봐.
Excuse me, but I have to tidy up this room.
그러든가. 아가님 어서오세요. 이 길인가?
According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building.
안 들려요?
들려요? 왜 안 들리나? 이씨.
There is a bust of Montague Dunn in the nursery.
A bust? Oh, that old thing. Further proof of that outrageous ego of his.
But why in that room, in particular?
Oh, I don't know. It has always been there.
It is strange, because I recovered a fragment
어서오세요.
of the bust inside the Colonial Collection Room.
Really? Oh, well, so I am
안 들리나?
mistaken. It ought to have been removed during the cleanup. This room is so small.
Do you know who moved it?
I have no idea. Surely Mr. Dunn requested it. Do you have any more questions like this? Because fragments of rock are not my responsibility.
Evidently. Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
안 들려요? 안 들려? 왜 아무도 대답을 안 하지?
지금도 들리죠?
Newspapers discussing Kew Gardens.
불아?
옷을 껴입어.
Champagne. Montague Dunn had good taste. Champagne. Montague Dunn had good taste. French wine. A remarkable vintage.
부자였어.
A photograph of Montague Dunn and Reynold Hamish.
뭐예요? 왜 안 갔어? 이거 어떻게 하지? 안 해! 어서오세요. 어때요?
I suggest that we don't tell Miss Margaret White
네.
about this document.
이코? 지금은요? 지금은 지금도 안 들려요? 들려? 들려? 들리냐고. 가. 욕했어요? 아, 아까 목소리가 좋은데.
Locked.
Holmes, Albert Dunn didn't give us the key to this door.
It does not matter. We will open it.
나 이런 거 싫은데. 자. 들리고 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 있을 때 잘해. 라라라라라라 라라라라라라. 넘길까? 왜 포기하면 안 돼? 몰라.
Open.
그냥 열리는 거야. 어차피 열 거잖아요.
Martin Hamish's locker. A review on rare and exotic plants. Martin Hamish has written several pieces.
승질나서 못한다고요.
A review on rare and exotic plants. Martin Hamish has written several
열려.
pieces.
그랬군요. 왜 무리하게 요구하셨어요?
Martin Hamish studied chemistry. Interesting.
그래?
Father and I. Kew Gardens.
네, 어차피 열려요.
Albert's locker. A picture of Miss White and Albert in front of the University of London.
And they seem to get along.
A rejection letter from the British Royal Naval College.
그랬구나.
Specialist articles on shipyards and ship construction. Albert Dunn has a great passion for shipbuilding and the sea. Miss White's locker.
어머, 여자 사물함을 막 뒤지고.
These jewels must be worth a small fortune.
이 여자애가 의심스러워. 값
A
비싼 게
vanity
많어,
purse. It is
대학생이라면서.
of high quality.
네, 어서 오세요.
Apparently,
부유한
Miss
집안이
White
아니야.
is a capable student. A draft of the letter that Miss White sent to her parents.
그랬구나. 이래서 젊은 늙은 아저씨랑 사람이 뭔가요? 몬테규던 그랬구나. 불륜이었나? 나 이제 잘하는데. 아, 혓바닥 아파. 아.
Mr. Hamish, was someone from your family connected
배고프다.
with Kew Gardens?
Family? No. I'm the only one with a passion for botany.
혜미씨의 사진?
I do not think so. This photograph of you and your father at Kew Gardens suggests the opposite.
But you have no right to.
Do tell us more about your father.
He was, indeed, the greatest botanist of his time in the British Empire. He worked together with Montague Dunn until the end of his
재밌어요.
life. He brought me in at the age of 12.
Did he get on well with Mr. Dunn?
No, I couldn't say that. They expanded Kew Gardens together, that was all. And it was all my father's work, for Dunn always lived the high life.
So Mr. Dunn was not helping your father?
Oh, yes, he provided the financial support. And as far as he was concerned, that fulfilled his role. But the worst of it was, he declared himself as the master of Kew Gardens. Fame meant nothing to my father. So it was easy for Mr. Dunn to take all the credit.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
도둑가 사례방. 맞다. 컴퓨터 없앴다 그랬지? 고장났다 그랬나?
I perceive that you are passionate about the Royal Navy.
Passionate? No, not really. I like ships, that is all.
Are you quite sure? You do not seem to be so interested in plants.
It's difficult, that's all. My future is here. It has never been about anything else.
And yet I know that the Royal Naval College rejected your application.
Ah, you truly are as clever as they say. Yes, that's correct. And in fact, my father was strongly against the idea. He did his best to ruin my plans, although I almost did succeed. But my dreams were shattered, Mr. Holmes.
그랬구나.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Thank you, young man. 그럼 알버트가 화이트 언니한테 가야 되겠네. 너너 비켜 좀 비켜 비키라고 야 비켜. 으흐. 어서 오세요. 언제쯤에?
Kew Gardens is such an exciting place. Wouldn't you agree?
또 가야 되겠고. 왈, 아, 걔 귀여워. 발 만져보고 싶다. 아, 포동포동한 거 봐. 분석.
Let us determine just what we have found here. Let us pour liquid from the bottle into a test tube to perform an analysis. This is the bottle that we found hidden at Kew Gardens. Let us use a pipette to take a sample of the liquid and fill a test tube. This is the bottle that we found hidden at Kew Gardens. Let us use a pipette to take a sample of the liquid and fill a test tube. A colorless, water-based liquid. Quite a strong floral aroma.
마시라고?
Holmes? What are you doing?
It has a bitter taste.
What if it's poisonous?
Did you ever see poison stored in enormous jars like that? Anyway, there is a doctor nearby.
So what do you think it is?
It is some kind of organic compound. Let us vaporize the liquid and see what happens. Small colorless crystals. Colorless, tiny crystals that are soluble in water with a floral smell and a bitter taste. Watson, could you pass me that small bottle, please?
Of course. Here you are. Holmes, do you know what it is?
Wagner's reagent. There was a label on the bottle that you passed to me.
No, Holmes, I meant the bottle that we found.
Let me add the reagent and see if there is any sediment, and then I shall tell you. I need to take a pipette and make several drops of the reagent.
빨개졌어.
Red sediment, just as I suspected. This liquid is of organic origin. It contains some alkaloid. Most likely it is unstable, and that is why there is a quantity of gold dust to prevent contamination. This mixture is probably a fertilizer. Someone was carrying out unusual experiments in the garden's laboratory.
그랬구나.
This is where I keep
89년. 논란이 된 신성 연구에
Here it is. And here is the Divine Syndicate's address. Perfect. It is time to find out what they have against Montague Dunn.
This place is beautiful,
와우.
Holmes.
여긴 어디야?
Its atmosphere is remarkably
이분은
soothing.
뭐야?
Let us find someone who could help us.
쿵푸 파이팅. 아, 이 중국풍은 뭐야?
Good day to you, sir. My name is
I am exalting the sap. A while can you wait? From the trace of elements and moreover from the quality of the ambient geotropism it depends. Therefore, please, mind my gravitropism. Its balance, do not disturb.
Disturbed is most definitely the word.
There. Completed is the symbiosis.
뭐야?
Welcomed you are. To introduce myself, I shall.
아,
I am
그렇군요.
the Green Grand Mystic.
the Green Grand Mystic himself.
This is me. Who am I speaking to?
We are two gentlemen who are extremely interested in the vegetation philosophy that is advocated by this establishment.
Listening to you, I am.
We should like to take a look around, to immerse ourselves in the wisdom that emanates from here.
It is a school of anastomosis, the divine scholastic syndicate for vegetation
그렇군요.
veneration and meditation. You may say, the divine syndicate, glory to the eukaryotic. Only true devotees, those whose hearts are ready to spermatophize in sharing of knowledge, are permitted to physically enter our vegetable kingdom and its wisdom. And to be permitted, you must earn it. Yes.
We visited Kew Gardens, and we found your symbols on their flower pots.
Coincidence, I am thinking. They would scavenge our refuse. It would not surprise me.
It was merely an observation.
준비?
Green Grand Mystic, we are ready to become devotees and gain access to your temple.
What is the name of our Lord, our God King?
Our God King's name is Treewan, Green Grand Mystic.
Hola, good, good, I like you. Here is the holy key
돈
to
내놓으라는
the
거야?
wisdom place.
싫어.
Holy donation can you make whenever you so wish.
Thank you so much.
I pray you to taste our fertilizer substance. From the burdens of life it helps to free.
네, 네.
But of course,
Raw sap, it is called.
어? 이거
It is near the
아까
entrance.
마셨던 거다, 홈즈가. 문신이 있어.
well, we will leave you to your meditation.
열쇠를 받았어. 어이, 뭐야 이거.
Praise the grand tree, praise it!
This must be Treewan, the Divine Syndicate's god. This door is locked, but I can try to open it.
설마 또? 아. 이런 거는 어이씨, 이번엔 건너뛰기 없지? 건너뛰기. 그렇지. 뭐하러 힘들게 돌리고 있어. 화학용품이 있어. 그쵸. 내가 저걸 거의 저번에 5분 동안 돌리다가.
The same as in the bottle we found in the bushes at Kew Gardens. This cabinet is full of chemicals. They are the same as the ones we found in the laboratory at Kew Gardens. That would be enough to perform the most difficult of chemical experiments.
뭘 태우고 있는데? 이게 단가?
These instruments are used for smoking
앞에는
opium.
마약인데. 어서 오세요. 뭔 식물이 이렇게 많아?
Caterpillars. They are raised as food for certain plants. Let's take them.
아이고, 가져가라고? 아, 징그럽게 정말. 애벌레를.
A tropical plant. Nothing of interest. 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 These three plants are identical to the ones shown at the exhibition. I shall take them.
어머, 다 가져가.
A tropical plant. Nothing of interest. A tropical plant. Nothing of interest.
날 좋아한다고. 더 있어. 실험을 진행하라.
Perfect, Watson. We can begin our experiment.
무슨 실험? 뭐 없나?
You came to make a donation? Glory!
설마? 기부 안 할 건데, 안 할 건데. 화분 조각.
Fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here. Fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here. The Kew Gardens symbol.
댕. 댕. 작은 차가 큰 차에 비해서 위험하긴 하죠. 내가 사고 난 거를 몇 번 봤는데 뭐 이중 추돌 이렇게 봤을 때 대부분 작은 차들이 많이 찌그러져.
Do you have friends at Kew Gardens?
None. Not worthy there.
Do you have friends at
신도가
Kew
없습니까?
Gardens?
None. Not worthy there.
Nevertheless, we have seen Kew Gardens flower pots in your yard. How could they happen to be there?
What? Our sacred place you permitted yourself to search? Sacrilege.
No, really now. There was a theft of plants at Kew Gardens a matter of days ago. And we believe the pots we found here may be connected with it. Please tell us, were you involved?
No. Those plants were ours. They had stolen them from us.
How so?
Their director, Dump, I believe.
Done.
Yes, that's what I said. He borrowed from us
one.
3 of our sisters for the exhibition at his green fly-infested gardens. But he never gave them back to us. Excuses and imbecility. So we went in and saved them.
또
I see. So, if you stole those rare plants from them, then it means... Ah, I get it. Bravo, Holmes. I think the case is solved.
No, we did not steal. We saved. Well, as a matter of fact, we were unable to find our 3 plants.
I beg your pardon. And yet you took all of the exotic plants from the stand.
They had disappeared. It was the least we could do. They stole our sisters, and so we stole theirs.
Well, we will leave you to your meditation.
단서가 없어. 일단 분석하러 가야 되는데. 다들 싫어하셔서요. 다들 오글거려 미치겠다 그래서. 분석을 해볼까요? 비켜. 이게 뭐해?
This green grand mystic fellow seems rather suspicious, Holmes.
저러고 있다네.
What should we do next, Holmes?
분석할 거야.
I imagine that one of these plants would be capable of releasing a toxic vapor. I need to find out exactly how it could be done. I shall begin now. Watson, if you are at all optimistic to have dinner this evening, then I'd recommend that you put on the gas mask. This plant becomes inactive after being drenched with alkaloid. This plant becomes inactive after being drenched with alkaloid. It appears to open after being soaked with alkaloid.
어허. 오! 잡아먹는다.
It closed again. I believe I saw a small cloud of gas. I wonder what secrets this plant is hiding. Perhaps if we agitate it to a greater extent whilst it is opened, it will reveal a little more. How interesting. What a strong and effective defensive mechanism. I am interested in what might occur if the prickly plant should shoot at it. A carnivorous plant. This is a strange and unusual plant.
어떻게 되는 거야?
A prickly plant. This... I find the behavior of predators utterly fascinating. How interesting. What a strong and effective defensive mechanism. I am interested in what might occur if the prickly plant should shoot at it. The plants would be capable of killing only if they were directly next to the victim and stimulated at precisely the right moment.
Let us take our caterpillars to the Colonial Collection Room. We may see things more clearly there.
It is too early, Watson. Our suspects will be there. Let us investigate Kew Gardens one more time and ask some questions.
This green grand mystic fellow seems rather suspicious, Holmes. What should we do next, Holmes?
관장님이구나. 이거 이렇게 오래 걸려? 용의자.
Can you tell me if you saw Mr. Montague Dunn on the day of his death?
Yes, of course. I met him, and we went to see Albert, his son, at around 9:30. He appeared quite calm.
What were you doing on the morning of the accident?
After paying multiple visits to Albert, I had a little talk with Miss White. Then I returned to my desk to complete some paperwork. Suddenly I observed that Mr. Dunn was not feeling well, so I ran immediately to fetch Albert. I clearly remember that it was around 10:30, for I was late that morning.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
그랬군. 벙어리 주고 싶다. 용의자.
Can you tell me what Mr. Dunn was doing upon the day of his death?
I can, but there is nothing very special to say. I was in the laboratory when I saw Mr. Dunn heading towards me. Tuesday is the day of his weekly visit. It was supposed to be at 9, but he was 10 minutes late, as usual.
And then?
Well, he came in to say good morning. Then I saw him spend 2 or 3 minutes by the plants outside the laboratory. After that, he ran out in the direction of the nursery, where Mr. Hamish was working. He was always in a rush during the inspection, you see. I would pity anyone who stood in his way.
And that was the last time you saw him?
Yes. I stayed in the laboratory until 20 minutes to 11, when I heard the cries of Albert and Mr. Hamish from the large glass house. I joined them as soon as I could, for I knew that something must be very wrong.
What exactly were you doing in the laboratory?
I was recording an experiment for my thesis. I only stopped my work once when Mr. Hamish visited me briefly around 10 o'clock.
You say you were recording an experiment when the tragedy occurred. Might I listen to the roll?
Certainly. Please do. You will find it in the laboratory. It is number 320.
아까 들었는데?
Thank you, miss.
연구실이 어디지 근데? 아, 이 왓슨이 자꾸 나의 길을 막아? 여긴가? 네, 나래 언니. 아이씨, 어딨지? 알아요. 이거 개그 콘서트에서 나오는 건데. 내 맘 같지 않네. 어디야? 어머, 내 맘 같지 않네. 어딨나, 어딨나. 어딨지? 어떡하냐. 못 찾겠어. 이쪽인가? 에이, 몰라. 돌아다니다 보면 있겠지. 정태호인가? 이름 몰라요. 저 개그맨 이름을 몰라 다. 맞아, 개그맨 하니까 생각나는데 그 범죄자 누구야? 차 훔친 사람 자동차 뭐 BJ 뭐 어쩌고 저쩌고 방송하던데? 아프리카도 참 그런 사람을 방송하게 냅두네.
Your father's death does seem highly suspicious. What were your movements here on that day?
Suspicious? Well, I was working in the seed house, taking care of Lysa something, or Lear Pontus, or... No, wait. Ah, these Latin names. And I spent so many hours trying to memorize them.
Did you see your father that day?
Yes. He came here with Mr. Hamish for his weekly visit. There was nothing unusual about that.
And then?
Nothing. They stepped out to the backyard. It was perhaps 20 minutes before 10 o'clock. Then about 10 minutes later, I saw my father heading for the dry tropics room while Mr. Hamish returned here.
And Mr. Hamish and Miss White, what were they both doing that morning?
Mr. Hamish visited me a couple of times. I also saw him returning from talking with Miss White, and that was at 10 minutes past 10. But then he ran back here to me to tell me that my father was feeling unwell.
각
We
항구가
hurried across to the
밥벌이를
water
못하나
lily room,
보지?
and I found my father lying dead on the floor. Oh my God.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Everyone has gone, Holmes. The way is clear.
포자를 들어 마셨다. 이렇게 죽었구나.
When Montague Dunn was standing close by the plants, the caterpillars were released and caused the deadly spores to activate. Panicking, and likely already half asphyxiated, Montague Dunn started back and knocked over the bust. He rushed to the door, but it was locked. He had to force it open with his shoulder. We already know the outcome. Montague Dunn collapsed
한 번이면
and
몰라도
died,
두 번이나
not far
그렇게
from the
한
pool.
거는 정신병이에요.
Well, it is time to perform our experiment on the ventilation system.
자극시킬 방법을 찾으십시오. 여기 김동주 좋아하는 사람이 없는데. 불쌍한 김동주. 동주 김동주. 이 노래 싫어했다 그러지 않았나? 자기 이름 동주 막 이런다고? 동주 김동주. 참 근데 응원가 참 유치하긴 해. 동주 김동주가 뭐야? 해설자 안 할걸요? 아, 김동주는 해설자는 아니야. 전혀. 아, 이거 어디지? 아까 거기가?
These young plants must be delicate if they are kept in the nursery.
아까 어디지 그게? 어디 갔을까요? 라디오 있던데. 강병은은 관심종자잖아, 관심종자. 강병규가 두산이었어? 아, 대박. 나 몰랐어. 몰랐어. 그래서 사람들이 범죄 구단이라고 하는구나. 강병규도 그렇고 정수근도 두산이었다면서요. 그래서 그렇구나. 걔는 누구지? 누구지 걔는? 사람 죽이는 누구지? 사무처 3개인데?
Director's office, cloakroom, and laboratory.
비켜. 이 혓바늘 진짜 미치겠네. 그게 뭐야? 우주하니까 생각나는 게 있어. 타이거 우주가 요새 왜 그래요? 보면 뭐 하는 짓이지 생각 들던데? 타이거 우주 하는 거 보면?
A botany book. This student's book belongs to Albert.
아, 미치겠네. 잠깐만. 열 수 없나?
A botany book.
뭘 조사 안 한 게 있나? 아! 여기 있다. 이거 아닌가? 추운기가 아닌가? 있다. 아까 뭐 들으라 그랬지? 아줌마. (320분) 320? 320이라는 게 없는데? 여기 있다.
Here it is. Cylinder records.
These plants, classified as shrubs or grasses, have adapted to their arid environment due to a system of underground roots.
This recording seems very long. It is unnecessary to listen to all of it. Miss White was in the laboratory, as she told us. Chemicals, a sufficient quantity for some serious experiments. Chemicals, a sufficient quantity for some serious experiments.
화이트는 아니고, 네. 용도를 어떻게 찾지? 식민지 식물관에 방법을 어떻게 찾으라는 거지? 네, 들어가세요. 이거 아시는 분?
These young plants must be delicate if they are kept in the nursery.
이걸 아는 분이 없어.
The seeds of plant species are stored here.
뭘 빼먹었을까? 여기서 찾아야 되는데. 잘 가요 내 소중한 사랑 고마워셔요.
First of all, I need to visit the colonial collection room to see how those caterpillars dropped onto the deadly plants.
식민지 식물관이 어딘데?
Colonial collection.
열대 옆인가? 돌아다니다 보면 있겠지. 수상. 몰라요. 양꾼. 재배용 음식인데? 영역장. 아, 배 아파 죽겠네. 혓바늘이 언제 다 날려나. 여긴가? 종자보관실. 다시 봅시다. 수상식물관? 어? 수상식물관 옆이라는데? 이런 젠장을. 수상식물관 옆인데? 여긴가?
According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building.
여기 아니야?
Here is a list of the stolen plants.
어디야? 어디냐고? 모르겠어. 어딘지 모르겠다고. 여기 같은데. 여기도 아니고. 비켜 이거 난간에 비켜 이씨. 여기 맞는 것 같은데. 아 여기 있다.
The caterpillars could only fall from the ventilation duct. Our caterpillars are in place. I'll activate the ventilation system so that they fall down. Watson, stay here and observe.
All right, Holmes.
These windows were perfectly cleaned. The smell is strong. It is a detergent.
했는데.
We have to activate the ventilation system.
환기 장치? 환기 장치를 아까 조절한 데 있었는데. 비켜. 어디였지? 따란. 왔어. 곧 좀만 기다려. 내가 널 구해주겠어. 여기다.
The power is on. The engine has started. The ventilation system is working.
다시 왓슨인 대로 가야 되나? 왓슨, 내가 간다. 어머, 여기가 아닌가 보네. 어디였지? 여기네. 왔음, 내가 왔음. 뭐야? 된 거 아니야?
These windows were perfectly cleaned.
했잖아.
The smell is strong. It is a detergent.
이씨, 뭐 어떻게 하라고. 저걸 따라가야 되나? 아, 정말 똥개 훈련시키네. 그러면 그 기계 조종실을 가서 따라가 보라는 얘기지? 모르겠어. 문 좀 열어봐. 문을 열어라고. 아, 뭐지?
A water tank.
조사했잖아. 방법을 찾았잖아. 이걸 따라가야 되나?
From here, we are unable to see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room. Excellent. This ventilation fan is working. Let us see if I can activate the other one. From here, we are unable to see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room.
이거를 따라가야 돼. 가자. 여기도 뭐 있다.
Before I activate the fan, I need to check if the interior of the Colonial Collection Room can be seen from here. We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this window. Perfect. Now I just need to find Watson to check the result.
Oh, yes.
It works perfectly, Holmes. Bravo. Now, if you could just help me to get rid of these caterpillars.
Perfect. Now we know how the murder of Montague Dunn was carried out. by activating both Albert's and Mr. Hamish's fans.
But only from Mr. Hamish's workplace would it be possible to see when Montague Dunn entered the Colonial Collection Room. Let's go to Scotland Yard.
이 아저씨였군.
Locked.
마틴 어딨어?
I must admit, it would be rather unusual to use a poisonous plant as a murder weapon.
일로 오라며.
Mr. Holmes?
이건 아니고.
Inspector, I believe that Martin Hamish is guilty of the murder of Montague Dunn.
Aha! I knew it. I'll send the lads around to arrest him.
Very good. I shall wait to hear from you. Inspector, I came here as quickly as I could.
Martin Hamish is in the large glass house. There's no need to hurry.
체포했잖아.
Martin Hamish is in the large glass house. There's no need to hurry.
대형 온실?
Holmes, my God!
Yes, we found him like that.
Our messing around with the ventilation system didn't go unnoticed. Mr. Hamish realized that we knew.
Inspector, could you arrange the body, please? I should like to examine it.
자살한 건가?
The mark around the neck is very visible. He died instantly.
Holmes, his left shoe is unique. This anomaly is often a characteristic of...
A club foot. Bravo, Watson. That is the key element of this case. Something about this rings very oddly.
Why do you say that, Mr. Holmes?
Why? Because of Mr. Hamish's club foot. Oh, I deserve to be kicked from here to Charing Cross. I should have noticed it.
But, Mr. Holmes, I can't see why.
No, I don't suppose you do. You must recall that Mr. Dunn was locked inside the Colonial Collection Room by the murderer. If it was Mr. Hamish, he would have had to run up to his workplace to trigger the fan situated above it, taking into consideration the condition of his foot.
Well, it is still possible.
Perhaps, but it is rather strange that such a person as Mr. Hamish decided to base his plan on the speed of his gait.
You mean to say that somebody helped him?
So the suicide is questionable?
Correct. Mr. Hamish accuses only himself in his letter, and so the investigation stops.
Possibly an accomplice, then? That idea had not occurred to me, Mr. Holmes.
I have another idea, Inspector. Thanks to the testimony that we have collected, we are able to rebuild the events as they took place that day.
With a timeline, such as we did in the Jack the Ripper case.
Precisely.
The map at the entrance of Kew Gardens should help us with our timeline.
Let us analyze the facts and statements so that we may recreate the events of that morning.
대규단은 알버트 던은 종자 9시 30분경 알버트 던은 10시 10분경 네. 인 10시경에 대화했다. 뒤뜰로 영했다. 9시 40분경. 마틴 MLC는 마갈렛 화이트는 마틴 MLC와 대화했다. 실험실에서? 마틴. 건너뛰어.
Perfect, Watson. Now, let us ascertain who assisted Martin Hamish in killing Montague Dunn. Let us summarize. Montague Dunn was poisoned inside the Colonial Collection Room. He forced open the door, which means that someone locked him inside there at 10:20. Martin Hamish was last seen at 10:10. This means that he has approximately 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room. Given that he was club-footed, it is doubtful. Albert also has 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room, which is quite enough time. Miss White was last seen at 10 o'clock, which means that she had approximately 20 minutes to lock the door. More than enough time.
그럼.
Perfect, Watson. Now, let us ascertain who assisted Martin Hamish in killing Montague Dunn.
범행을 공모했구나. 규탄을 해야지.
What happened, Inspector?
It's all over now, lad. There is no use denying it.
아빠를
We
죽였구나.
know that you murdered your father. Patricide by plant poisoning. Very alliterative.
What? You're mad. I didn't do it. I don't know anything about botany. go!
유후.
Where are you going, Holmes?
이건 내일 해야지.
Have you been invited somewhere?